Thanks for staying with us. So we're still discussing the Minister Adelabu's comments recently when he gave a press briefing concerning some of the things he hopes to do. And one of the things that got me laughing or cracked me up when he was talking was like, you know, we need to understand the power sector, the transmission issue, what are the issues? The generation, what are the issues? You know, what is going on? And it cracked me up because we know the issues. There's no Nigerian that doesn't understand the issues concerning transmission, generation, and distribution, because we've been discussing it. Maybe some people don't know, but at least on the show, we are very clear on the major issues. So when a minister is going to start over on what are the issues, is that a cause for concern? Because really, there's a part of the issue that many ministers don't even know, which is with the people. Because they'll tell you cost reflective. As much as we understand what NERC will say, or based on our guidelines or our law, we should be reviewing after every 5 years. You know, we know the issues of how are we paying cost-reflective tariffs or not? These are some of the issues. Transmission, we're transmitting this amount. Distributions cannot distribute it because of the capacity. There's so many other issues that is there. So, but they are part of that to even solve it is that are Nigerians willing to pay what is required for power? Because they'll say, how much are we earning? We don't have money. We are poor. How do we pay for? So it's not just about transmission, generation, and distribution. It's the ability for you now to distribute it. Can people pay for it? So there are more issues. I mean, let me come to you, talk about, because you're also very privy to some of these issues that we'll be discussing about for years. So when your minister is coming to talk about, I want to start asking about the issues. Does that concern you, or do you feel that we need?
So, you know, we've always spoken about the importance of putting a round peg in the round hole. Means that we're putting in someone that understands clearly the challenges of the ministry and how to solve the problem into where it should be. Conversation around problem with power sector has always been the fact that we don't, even if we generate more power, our transmission, which is controlled by the government, cannot transfer that to the discos. So we have GENCOs, we have discos, and we have TCN, Transmission Company of Nigeria, in between. Privatized GENCOs, privatized disco, TCN owned by Nigeria, and GENCOs are complaining that when we generate more power and we try to push it through transmission, grid shuts down. Yeah. That's when we have those power collapse, because the grid will shut down because of too much energy. So what comes to disco is less than what is being generated and what their capacity to, or what Nigerians need. So the TCN is in between, and that is 100% controlled by the minister. So, sir, we know the problem. How we'll solve that problem? Infrastructural investments that the government will be putting into the TCN, that is what we want to hear more of. How we want to improve distribution by providing that more meters are everywhere, affordable. Yes. That is what we want to hear about.
Let me take this call from Kunle. Thanks for calling, Kunle.
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning.
Well, I don't know. Please permit me to quote a chapter of the Bible. The Bible says, when the foundation is being destroyed, what can the righteous do? Now, what I'm saying is that if the way Buhari's administration, through the Fashola, when he was the Minister for Power, the effort he made on the power generation, especially, if the previous government since 1999 have been doing that, where do you think we would be today? So the problem of corruption, sir, man, is the serious problem about this country, man. So, do you remember the Obasanjo's $16 billion? Yeah. $16 billion. If that money has gone to the power something by that time, shall we be complaining about the power generation today? So, if the previous government have been working rightly for the survival of this country, I don't think these people have mercy for this country. So, the money, Nigeria, government money in the hand of individuals of this country. So this is time for them to come out, to bring that money out, to help this country. It's our country. We don't have another country. Let those politicians who have the chunk of the money of government money at hand, let them come out and release the money for the progress of our Nigeria. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. We have to wrap up on this. I'm told that Nema is on the phone in the morning. But I think the reason why I brought that up is that the issues with power is multifaceted. And I remember, I think it was back in 2020 when Minister Fashola was trying to tell us that even when it comes to the meters, we had gotten Nigerian companies to couple these meters so that we're thinking that instead of bringing it from abroad directly, let us get these Nigerian companies to get it coupled in and then distribute. It didn't help. So we say, let Nigerians do it. We now do it. Unfortunately, they're having issues with even distributing the meters. So there were serious problems. So it's one thing to do transmission, generation. It's getting meters so that Nigerians are paying for the value they're using. So, Oga Minister, this matter, we know. But what we hope that you can help us to do is fix it. We don't want you to use in the first few months to be researching because, trust me, we already know what the problems are. We have to wrap up because I'm told that we had, but let me let you have to find out there's something you wanted to say?
Yes, and this DJ's situation made us more aware of the fact that, yes, electricity is not even enough in Nigeria, but we realized that we're giving power, selling to Benin Republic, to Togo, and to Niger. And sometimes we begin to ask questions, like something will never reach us. How come we're giving it out and we're complaining about these things?
Okay, so thank you very much. So as I said, we know the problems. We need a minister who is telling us, based on what the problems are, this is what I'm doing, bam, bam, bam. And he has told us a few already that he's going to be fixing some of the they're going to be adding national grid, and they'll be also fixing quite a number of the dams that we need to generate electricity. So these are some of the things we want to see, but I'd like to hear, more importantly, how we get meters to every single home in Nigeria within the shortest period of time. So I'm told now that we have our guest from NEMA, to give us an update concerning the release of the Cameroonian Lagbo Dam very soon. We'll have the spokesman, National Emergency Agency, Mr. Manzo Ezekiel, on the phone with us. Good morning, sir. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, we're happy to have you on the show. According to the story I took in the papers, so the dam will be released very soon. They didn't give us a specific date. But according to the reports, you've already contacted the governors across these states to begin to prepare for it. Could you give us an update on that so far?
As a matter of fact, the release of the water has already begun.
Oh, okay.
Because the information that is circulating is something that is overtaken by time. The authorities, the Cameroonian authorities that are managing the dam have already commenced the modulated release of water from manifest water from the dam. Yes.
Thank you. Okay.
And the release of this excess water is also in our interest because the capacity of the dam is about to reach its maximum, and if it is allowed to reach its maximum, anything can happen. So it's only good that they release the water gradually, and this is not coming to us by surprise, because in our preparation for flood management, we envisage that a situation like this may arise. So we have taken note of this in all our preparations for mitigation and response to flood this year.
So you mentioned that you've prepared ahead, but from the pictures and videos that are online, we would think about that preparation level. And my question would be that why is this a recurrent problem every year, such that people have to leave their homes, properties are being destroyed, and we say that we're working on it every year?
No, we are talking about rain, and rain do not constitute negativity to us. It's part of human existence. But the situation where you mentioned that people will have to leave their homes or get their property and life lost is because people are refusing to heed to the warning and advice that are always given to them. Because if you build on floodplains, what do you expect? You expect that when the flood comes, you will be washed away. So it's part of the action plans or activities that we are carrying out by way of sensitizing the people to move away from floodplains so that they will not be washed away by water.
So I wanted to ask you about shelter arrangements. We know that NEMA always gives this warning that people should move, and the reason some people don't move and their lives gets, we suffer fatalities in this avoidable situation is because we don't have options for them. And like Toby said, we've had this several times. So it would be expected that going forward, wherever there is a floodplain, we would have a shelter arrangement where people can move to when the flood comes. Do we have shelters yet? And what are the conditions of the shelters that are available? Then how is NEMA partnering with states to support them in providing relief to areas where you can't avoid it? There will be crisis with the dam being released.
The first thing I would say here is that we must understand that the responsibility of moving people from floodplain lies with the state government. Yes, it lies with the state government, and that is why immediately we got a lot of these floods. The NEMA has written to all the state government to prepare them, you know, to prepare their people to relocate to a safer place. And I must tell you that many people are living illegally. Many people are living illegally in locations that are prone to flood. So, as a matter of fact, this year, by the grace of God, our flood warning have been receiving a lot of positive response. And we, by the grace of God, we are expecting that with the level of awareness that we are having, we are not likely to have the worst of case scenario.
Thank you. So who's going to be monitoring compliance by the state government? I mean, as you said, it's really not in your hands. It's for the state governors to provide this support. And many of them have various funds that have been available to them. But some of them are not doing the right thing. So who monitors compliance and who ensures that Nigerians are actually well taken care of during this period?
Well, it's not a matter of who is monitoring compliance, but it's a matter of a collective response to a situation like this. The federal government has its own responsibility, the state has its responsibility, the local government and the community, we all have our responsibility. So we expect that in circumstances like this, everybody must be up and doing, because we are talking about saving lives and property here.
Okay. Okay, I think there's pretty much that's all we can take on that. But thank you. That is, we know that you've been able to alert the state governors, and hopefully they can do what they need to do ASAP before things get really worse. Thank you, sir. I mean, I know we've discussed this matter several times on the show, where, you know, in other parts of the country, world, where it's volcano prone, it's tornado prone, they kind of know and prepare for these things. Either they board up, they have different natural disasters that they cannot, they still choose to live in those areas. But because they know it's coming, they have a way, they have a season. So the system kind of helps them to adjust. But I think we need to get to that point in our country where this is flood. It's not like tornado and the whirlwind that just comes in. We need something. You have to actually physically move to a higher ground area that would not cause issues. So you can choose to come back during the certain season, but there has to be a more calculated approach by state government to protect citizens within this area.
Ecological funds be spent in the right areas. We know this. We have an idea of the solution, but we're hoping that our leaders would implement the best options available to them to bring about the solution.
Fortunately, that's all we can take on today's show. Hope you learned a few things as we have. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.